Welcome students to today's presentation on the adverb. You can find all the information that I will be talking about today in your Holt Grammar books on pages 59 through 62. So let's start off with the definition of an adverb. An adverb is a word that modifies or describes a verb, an adjective, or another adverb. So let's look at some examples of this. Here are some hot examples. Students quickly write the CW and HW. What is the adverb in this sentence? I hope you are thinking it's quickly. Quickly modifies or describes the verb write. The warm-up is too challenging. In this sentence, the adverb is too because it modifies or it describes the adjective challenging. The students wake up very early. In this sentence, the adverb very modifies another adverb early, which then modifies the verb wake. So students, as you can see in these three examples, adverbs not only modify verbs, they also modify adjectives, and they also modify other adverbs as well. Adverbs answer the following questions: where, when, how often, how long, to what extent, or how much. So let's look at a few examples that show how adverbs answer those questions. Please leave the literature book there. In this sentence, there modifies the verb leave because it tells where you want the literature book to be left. Ian will answer the question now. Great job, Ian. Now modifies the verb phrase will answer because it tells when. Softly, I shut the classroom door. In this sentence, softly is the adverb because it modifies the verb shut. It tells you how you're going to close the classroom door. It doesn't say violently or loudly, it says softly. So it modifies the verb shut because it tells how. Natalie always reads novels. Great job, Natalie. We are so proud of your awesome reading skills. Always modifies the verb reads and tells how often. So in that sentence, always is the adverb. By the way, I am circling all of the adverbs in red, in case you are wondering. Next, would you please briefly explain what you mean? So in this sentence, what is the adverb? I hope you're thinking it's briefly. Briefly modifies the verb phrase would explain because it tells how long. You want it to be briefly done. You don't want it to be long and boring. You want it to be short and concise. You want it to be brief. You want him to briefly explain it to you. Next, Hector finished his homework very late last night. In this case, by the way, Hector, I hope you're not too tired tomorrow. Very modifies or describes the adverb late, which then tells you to what extent he finished his homework, how late he finished his homework. And the last example, Alberto thinks the homework was too easy. Too is our adverb here because it modifies or describes the adjective easy because it tells how easy it was. It was too easy. It was not just a little easy, but too easy. All right, Alberto, it looks like you're going to be really prepared for tomorrow's lesson then. Great job. Let's move on and look at some words that are often used as adverbs. So words that are often used as adverbs usually answer these questions. And we just talked about this in the previous slide. Where, when, how often, how long, or to what extent, or how much. Here are some common words. Here, there, away, up, outside, now, then, later, soon, ago, clearly, easily, quietly, slowly, never, always, often, seldom, frequently, usually, forever, very, hardly, almost, so, really, most, nearly, quite, less, and only. As you can see, these are very commonly used words that are used as adverbs in sentence. Now, many of us already learned in the past from some teacher or some tutor or someone around us that most adverbs end in ly. That's true sometimes, but not all the time. As you can see in these examples, not every single word ends with ly. So you can't just automatically assume that every word that ends in ly is an adverb because there are many words that don't end in ly, and that's not how we're going to learn grammar. We're going to understand grammar clearly. We're going to understand what each thing means. So when you think of adverbs, don't just think any word that ends in ly. You're going to think it is a word that modifies other verbs or adverbs or adjectives. That is what an adverb is. Okay? All right, the position of adverbs. So adverbs can come before, after, or between the words they modify. Let's look at a few examples of this. Quietly, Francisco will walk from class. In this example, what is the adverb here? I hope you're thinking it's quietly. Okay? Quietly is before the verb phrase will walk. In our next example, Francisco will quietly walk from class. In this example, our adverb quietly comes between the verb phrase will walk. Do you see how it comes right between the verb phrase? And third example, Francisco will walk quietly from class. I forgot to add from. That's a big mistake. I'm very sorry about that. But in this example, the word quietly comes after the verb phrase will walk. So, as you can see, the adverb can come before, after, or between the words that they modify. And the last slide, I would like you guys to practice these questions. You don't necessarily have to write them down, but when I ask a question, I want you to really think about it and try to answer the question. And don't fast forward to hear the answers, just think about it and try to answer it mentally. Number 1, the nation of Brazil actually covers almost half of the continent of South America. All right, what is the adverb in this sentence? And what does the adverb modify? So I want you guys to think about what the adverb is in this sentence and what the adverb modifies. All right, the adverb is actually, and it modifies covers. Actually modifies the verb covers. Number 2, in Brazil, sports fans can almost always find a soccer game in progress. What is the adverb here, and what does it modify? All right, this one's a tricky one because actually, almost modifies the verb always, the adverb always. Okay, so it's an adverb that modifies another adverb, which then modifies the verb phrase can find. Oops, I think I pushed it too much. Let's move on. There we go. All right, so here we have an adverb modifying another adverb, which then modifies the verb phrase can find. All right, let's look at the last example. Brasilia, the capital of Brazil, is an extremely modern city. What is the adverb in this sentence, and what word does it modify? I hope you're thinking that the adverb is extremely. Extremely modifies the adjective modern. All right, students, great job writing down your notes. I hope to see all of your wonderfully written Cornell notes or bubble maps tomorrow in class for a homework stamp. I'm very proud of each and every one of you, and I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye.